Have you ever, like, gotten this feeling? You know that feeling where the world's getting kind of fake? Like, almost too fake. Like, you can't really trust what you see online anymore. Well, get ready, because we are diving deep into something that takes that feeling, that uneasy feeling, to a whole other level. So picture this, okay?
Okay.
We have Maria. She's super excited. She's finally going to buy her own place.
Right.
She has been working and saving, and she's got the down payment. Her credit score is great, or at least she thought it was great. And then, bam, mortgage denied.
Oh, no.
Why? Because some made-up person, some phantom, had somehow, like, attached themselves to her Social Security number.
Oh, wow.
And they racked up a huge amount of debt.
Yes.
And it took her over a year, 14 months.
Oh, my goodness.
And $12,000 to prove she wasn't this fake debtor.
Wow.
And get this. This same fake identity was also causing huge problems for other people, too. It's almost like one bad apple spoiling the whole bunch.
Yeah, like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this isn't like the regular identity theft that we always hear about. We're not just talking about someone stealing your credit card.
Right.
This is about, like, someone creating a completely new person, for criminal reasons. And unfortunately, little bits of your very real information, your real data, can get all tangled up in that.
Yeah.
So it is scary stuff. And it's happening on a huge scale, like a massive scale. Last year alone, this type of fraud cost the world $20 billion.
Wow.
That's billion with a B. Experts are predicting that number could explode to $35 billion by the end of this year.
Wow.
That's a lot of money. $35 billion lost to fake people.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
And another thing that really kind of blew my mind was that it takes most people almost 5 months, 151 days, to realize that something weird is going on.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
By then, these people who are creating these fake identities are long gone.
Yeah.
So in today's deep dive, we are going to unpack exactly how this type of fraud works.
Okay.
And more importantly, how artificial intelligence is a huge player in all this. It's being used to make this happen, and it's also being used to try to stop it. So, welcome to Zana AI.
Yes.
Let's get started. So, let's break it down. What is synthetic identity fraud?
Okay, so imagine criminals. They're like Dr. Frankenstein, right?
Okay.
But instead of body parts, they're stitching together identities. They take real elements, like a real Social Security number.
Okay.
And they often target ones that haven't been used much, maybe like a child's or older person's. And then they combine it with fake information, right? Like a made-up name or a fake address, a birth date that's totally made up.
Okay.
So it's not really stealing your identity, like completely taking over your identity.
Yeah.
But creating this brand new one that just happens to use a little bit of your data.
Okay, so they are building like a whole new pretend person. How do they even get started? Where do they find these real Social Security numbers?
Well, there's a bunch of ways, unfortunately. Okay. Sometimes they get stolen in those big data breaches you hear about.
Right.
Other times, criminals, they target people who aren't really watching their credit so much.
Right. Yeah.
They're looking for numbers that haven't been used a lot or ones that haven't been flagged as suspicious.
So that's pretty unsettling. So they grab a real Social Security number and then just invent the rest of the person. Just make it all up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
And this is really where AI is coming in and changing things up.
Okay.
Because we're seeing all these sophisticated AI tools, especially something called deepfake technology.
Right.
And that's being used to generate like really realistic photos and even voices for these fake people.
Yeah. And it's pretty amazing. Like, I remember reading about this cybersecurity conference, and they were showing how AI could create a photo, a believable photo, of a fake person in just 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast it is.
Yeah.
It's scary.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
And you have a face for someone who doesn't exist.
Exactly. And that speed, and how easy it is to do, that's what makes it so dangerous.
Right.
And then once they've got this fake identity all set up, they kind of follow like a plan.
Okay.
Like a 4-step process.
Okay, so what are the steps? What do they do to build these fake lives?
All right, so first there's the creation phase. We already talked about that, mixing the real data with the fake stuff.
Yeah.
Then comes the building phase.
Yeah.
Okay, so they start applying for, small credit cards. Maybe they'll apply for loans with really low limits.
Right.
And they do it all using this fake ID.
Okay.
And they're not trying to, steal a ton of money right away.
Right.
What they're really doing is building a good credit history for this fake person.
So they're trying to make it look like this fake person is like really good with their money.
Exactly. They want it to look like a responsible borrower.
Okay.
So step 3 then is nurturing.
Okay.
And this is where they act like, a normal customer.
Right.
Making all their payments on time,
Yeah.
Slowly building up trust with banks and credit card companies.
Mm-hmm.
And this can go on for like a really long time.
Wow.
Could be months, even years.
Yeah, they have to be patient.
Oh, yeah, lots of patience. It's like they're raising, these fake financial profiles, like they're little kids.
Yeah.
And then finally, you have the bust out.
Okay.
So they've been working for, a long time, building up their credit.
Uh-huh.
And then finally, when they've got all these credit cards.
Right.
And they've got high limits, they max out all the cards, take all the money they can, and then they disappear.
Wow.
The fake identity just vanishes, leaving behind, a ton of unpaid bills.
It's a well-planned scam.
Yeah, it is.
You mentioned that AI is helping them, but isn't AI also being used to try and fight all this?
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of become like a battle between AI,
Wow.
like AI versus AI.
Oh, okay.
So, you remember that synthetic ring bust back in 2024?
Right.
Yeah, that was a massive operation. And they were using AI-generated photos to make like 7,500 fake identities.
Wow.
That's a lot of fake people. And they spent 2 years building up good credit for all these fake people, right?
Uh-huh.
And they even made like fake social media profiles
Wow.
to make them seem even more real. It's crazy.
Yeah, they went all out.
They did. They stole an estimated $175 million.
Wow. So how did they get caught?
It was actually an AI algorithm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it flagged their activity as suspicious. It was just like the sheer number of applications and transactions, and they were all linked to these identities that, seemed totally unrelated.
Right.
But it was the AI that was able to connect the dots and say, hang on a second, something's fishy here.
So it's like the same technology that helped them create all these fake people also led to their downfall.
Yeah, that's ironic, isn't it?
It is. It really shows you the power of this technology, AI.
It does. It does. And, it's not just about looking at like credit scores and payment history.
Mm-hmm.
Banks and financial institutions, they're using AI in even more advanced ways now.
Okay.
Like JP Morgan Chase, they said they cut their losses from this synthetic fraud by more than half in just 1 year.
Wow.
Just by using AI to spot unusual patterns.
Oh, okay.
So like, for example, let's say someone has a great credit history on paper, right?
Right.
But then there's no real digital footprint for them.
What does that mean? Like no digital footprint?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
Most people have like some kind of history online.
Right.
Maybe they've got social media accounts, they buy stuff online, or they're connected to other people online. But if someone seems to have this like perfect financial history,
right,
but there's nothing else about them online, that could be a huge red flag for AI systems.
Oh, okay.
It's like AI is looking for, like a digital yearbook for this person.
Right.
And if there's no evidence that they've ever existed in the online world, that's pretty suspicious.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's not just about like looking at their credit score and whether or not they pay their bills on time.
Exactly. It's about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And, the threat of AI, being used to create fake identities, it's not just about financial fraud.
Right.
We're seeing it pop up in other areas, too. You remember those deepfake scams?
Yeah, those were creepy.
Yeah.
The ones where you see or hear someone saying stuff that they never actually said.
Exactly. Like take the case of that company in Hong Kong.
Okay.
They lost $25 million.
Wow.
Because an employee got tricked by a deepfake video of their CFO.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the video told them to transfer funds.
Uh-huh.
And the video looked and sounded so real that the employee, didn't even question it.
That is scary. You can't even trust video evidence anymore.
It's getting hard to know what's real.
Yeah. What about that voice cloning stuff that I've been hearing about?
Oh, yeah, that's happening too.
Really?
Yeah, in the UK, an energy company, they got scammed out of over $240,000.
Wow.
By scammers who used AI to, like, perfectly copy their CEO's voice.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so one of the employees, they get a phone call.
Yeah.
And it sounds exactly like their boss.
Right.
And the boss is telling them, hey, you got to make this, like, urgent payment.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, they did it, because they thought it was really their CEO.
Right. It's getting harder and harder to tell what's real and what's fake.
It really is.
And it makes you wonder, like, how does this synthetic fraud impact us, like, as individuals, even if our full identity isn't being stolen,
Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah.
And here's, like, a unique thing about this kind of fraud.
Okay.
It often creates, like, a network. So one fake identity might be using bits of information from, like, several real people.
Oh, okay.
So then when that fake identity goes and maxes out all those credit cards and disappears, it can hurt a lot of people.
Oh, wow.
Even if, their whole identity wasn't stolen.
Right.
It's like this spider web of fraud.
Yeah. That's a really good way to put it. So it's not just about protecting yourself.
Yeah.
It's also about that ripple effect,
Yeah.
It could affect other people.
Exactly.
So what can we do? Like, what can our listeners do to protect themselves?
Okay, well, there's some important things you can do.
Okay, great.
First of all, make sure you turn on multi-factor authentication wherever you can.
Okay.
So that adds, like, an extra layer of security on top of your password.
Okay.
So even if someone gets your password, it's way harder for them to get into your accounts.
Yeah, it's like having a double lock on your front door.
Exactly.
Okay, what else can we do?
Second, get in the habit of checking your credit reports. Do it regularly, like at least once a year.
Yeah.
But honestly, more often is better.
Right.
And look for anything that you don't recognize, any accounts or activity that seems weird.
Okay.
You can even set up those alerts.
Yeah.
So you get a notification if someone tries to open a new account in your name.
So it's like checking your financial health report.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Third thing, think about freezing your credit.
Okay.
You can do that with the 3 big credit bureaus, And it's a good idea to do if you're not actively applying for new credit, like a new loan or a credit card.
Okay.
And that basically stops anyone from opening any new accounts in your name.
Okay.
Unless you give them permission.
Okay.
And it's totally free to do. And then you can just, like, unfreeze it if you need to apply for something new.
That sounds like a really smart thing to do. It's like putting a lock on your credit when you're not using it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Fourth, use those biometric security features whenever you can. Like fingerprint scanning or facial recognition.
Right.
You see that on your phone. And some apps have it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot harder for criminals to copy those things than it is to, steal a password.
That's true.
Like, it's tough to fake a fingerprint.
It is, yeah. Okay, so what's the 5th thing we can do?
Fifth, clean up your online presence.
Okay.
Like, go through and delete any old accounts that you don't use anymore. And, be careful about how much personal information you share on social media.
Right.
Because the less information that's out there about you, the harder it is for these scammers to, like, build a fake you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Those are all really good practical tips.
Yeah,
it's really all about, like, taking control of your digital footprint.
Exactly. Be proactive.
Yeah, yeah. On a lighter note, I read this funny story about this scammer who tried to use an AI-generated photo for their fake person. But the photo accidentally gave the fake person 3 eyebrows.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and that little mistake, that glitch, totally tipped off the bank.
Wow. That's a funny reminder that, even this fancy technology isn't perfect.
Yeah.
But it also shows that, paying attention to the little details, that's still important.
Yeah, it is. So looking ahead, it feels like this is going to be a constant back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Between the criminals and the good guys.
For sure.
What do you think the future holds for this whole cybersecurity battle?
Well, I think we're going to see these criminals come up with even more advanced deepfakes.
Okay.
And they'll use other AI tools to create synthetic identities that are, like, super hard to spot.
Right.
So the good guys, they're going to have to keep getting better and better at detecting and preventing this stuff.
Right. So it's like it's constantly evolving.
It is, yeah. It's an arms race.
Yeah. But there's also some pretty cool new technology coming out, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That could give us an advantage.
Yeah, things like quantum computing, and blockchain. Those technologies could make our digital identities way more secure.
Yeah.
And much harder to mess with.
Right.
Like, imagine having a digital ID that's basically impossible to fake.
That would be awesome.
It would.
But it feels like technology alone can't solve everything.
No, you're absolutely right. We need to update the laws.
Right.
And we need countries to work together to fight this because this crime, it doesn't care about borders.
Yeah.
And the laws have to catch up with this crazy fast technology.
Yeah. And it's not just about banks and individuals, right? The government's a big target, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The U.S. Government Accountability Office, they said that Synthetic fraud costs the U.S. government hundreds of billions of dollars every year.
Wow.
Across all sorts of different programs.
Yeah.
So that just shows you how big this problem really is and that we got to do something about it.
Yeah, those are some mind-blowing numbers. It's clear this is a serious problem that we need to, tackle on many different levels.
We do. It's going to take vigilance from everyone.
Yeah.
We need technological innovation, and we need to reform the laws. We got to hit it from all sides.
Yeah. Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
Really interesting, and also a little bit unsettling.
Yeah, it is a bit scary.
It is.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think that AI is, both creating the problem and also potentially offering solutions.
It's a powerful tool,
Yeah.
And it can be used for good or bad.
Yeah.
It's on us to make sure we're using it the right way.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks so much for being here and talking to us about this important issue.
You're welcome. It's an important conversation to have.
It is. So let's just do a quick recap of what we talked about today.
Okay.
So synthetic identity fraud, it's all about creating fake people.
Right.
Using a mix of real and fake information, often powered by AI. And this type of fraud is costing a ton of money. It could hit $35 billion this year. And it can affect a whole bunch of people who might be connected to that one fake identity. We talked about Maria and the synthetic ring, real-world examples, and we talk about how AI is being used to both carry out this fraud and to fight it. And we gave you 5 steps you can take to protect yourself.
And remember what cybersecurity expert Bruce Schneier said, security is a process, not a product.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so we got to stay alert and keep learning because things are changing all the time.
That's so true. And on that note, we want to hear from you. Have you ever come across any weird scams or anything suspicious online?
Yeah, tell us about it.
Share your stories in the comments below. Let's all learn from each other.
Yeah, let's create a smarter community.
Yeah. And join the Zana AI community. You can subscribe, like this deep dive, and leave us a comment.
Yeah, and don't forget to turn on notifications.
Yeah.
So you don't miss out on our future deep dives into the world of technology.
Exactly. Your thoughts and experiences are super valuable, so please share them. And remember, even though this type of fraud can seem really scary, you're not helpless.
Yeah, you've got the power.
You do.
Take those small steps.
Yeah.
Like checking your credit report and turning on that multi-factor authentication.
Yeah.
That can make a big difference.
It can. You got this. Thanks for diving deep with us, and we'll catch you next time.
See you later.